Hey guys, I want to talk about Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. I'm 80 pages in. I wanted to get like his complete works for some, but I was at Barnes and Nobles, so this is like one of the two books that they had, so I copped this one. So I just want to overview some of the information, some of the knowledge I've gained and such. The book begins with an explanation of the subconscious. Jung pretty much states that the subconscious is kind of the all holding aspect of memory, right? So, for example, although your conscious mind, let's say your conscious mind can hold 20 concepts. Do you know what a concept is in psychology? It's like a concept is like, when I say school, you understand that means math class, English, science, art, history, I don't know what other stuff. You go get lunch, the bells, all this. There's teachers, all that stuff, right? So a concept is like a word or a phrase that encapsulates an idea, right? If I say when pigs fly, the concept is like, okay, when it's just not going to happen, pretty much, right? That's the concepts. So let's say your mind can hold 20 concepts. When you learn the 21st concept, it pushes the first one into your subconscious. And it's not that this is lost. It's more so that you can't just pull it up immediately. It has to be triggered, right? Which is interesting because like you can work out of your subconscious ideas and stuff without realizing, Like for example, you could have learned a lesson from something that happened that you forgot about, and you just know, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to do this thing, right? But you don't remember why. It influences the conscious mind heavily, right? So he begins with that, right? And then it moves to his refuting of Sigmund Freud's idea of broad dream analysis, right? That everything that has to do with dreams is just representative of your subconscious mind, and like it's just holding certain messages and ideas and stuff. You're just replaying stuff, right? So like Sigmund Freud would say, if I had a dream that my wife died, Sigmund Freud would say, well, it's because you fear your wife dying, and it's just playing the scenario, right? Or like if I said I had a dream I was being attacked by wolves, Freud would say, this is because when you were a child, you were attacked by people or something, and you were powerless, right? And he pretty much just refutes that idea entirely. He says, no, this isn't true. And, back to the subconscious thing. He says that this stuff isn't lost because you can bring it up, right? It's like when I talk to girls about this stuff, I say, well, think about this. You may have forgotten something, right? Let's say you had a very traumatic thing happen to you as a child, and you lost it, but then you smell something that you smelled when you were that age the next week after, and suddenly, boom, flood of memories, all this shit. This stuff isn't lost. It needs to be triggered. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. But then he begins to assert dream symbolism, how this stuff works. It's actually, dude, it's like so crazy. Like, it's fucking hard to put into words. 80 pages of Jung's writing. And normally I could read like a decent bit. I can only read 10 pages at a time in this book, bro. I need to like take a day and think about it and stuff before I can read more. Because like it's just so much. Pretty much what it comes down to is that there's universal symbols among all of man, right? And what Jung states is that, well, there's a few things. A, dream analysis cannot be done in a broad sense. It must be done within the individual because the understanding of symbols and messages and stuff is different individually, right? So let's say, back to the school thing, my concept of school is American school, if you were raised in Africa, in Nigeria, when I say school, you think of what school is like in Nigeria, right? So therefore, definitions vary person to person. And pretty much, because he says this, I can't have you analyze my dreams because you don't know my understanding of things, of the world, all this. So like a psychologist, he pretty much just says that a psychologist can't really tell you unless they know you extremely well, unless they really have an understanding of your brain, right? So then he talks about the idea of compensatory dreams, right? He pretty much asserts that almost all dreams are compensating for something, right? So, for example, he talks about, he tells the story of a man. This man lives a very adventurous life freely because he feels locked in with his desk job, right? Like he's tired of it. So he lives a very wild life outside of that. He enjoys hiking on mountains and stuff, and he said that this man had a dream where he jumped off a mountain and like died, right? And so what Jung says is that this was compensatory. His subconscious mind knew this is very dangerous, like you're gonna die with the way that you act. So it's warning him. It's creating this. And a year later the guy dies, falling off a mountain, kills his best friend too on it, which he heard the story from the guy's hiking guide. Very tragic, guys. Very tragic. It's such weird stuff, because some of it gets into like, wait. Let me go back to the subconscious thing. He also states that another reason, like what he writes about how these ideas can still influence you and stuff, is he talks about how in one of Nietzsche's books, he recited, almost word for word, a story that he read when he was 10 years old. And upon asking Nietzsche about it, he said, I've never read that. Like, I made this. What are you talking about? And Jung is like, it was weird because it wasn't in his style of writing, right? And then Jung talks to Nietzsche's sister, and she says, oh, yeah, we read that book when we were 10. I guess that just gives you insight into it. Anyways, so he talks about compensatory dreams, right? And how there's kind of universal themes around stuff too, around dreams and stuff. And he talks about this 10-year-old girl. It's on like page 60 something, or 70. I think it's like 60 something, yeah. And pretty much, she has a bunch of dreams around the motifs of death and rebirth, the afterlife, the cycle of animals and stuff, right? Like, so animals kill each other and all this stuff. And she dies a year later. It's like, what the fuck? That stuff's crazy, bro. Because I'm pretty sure that she died of an illness. Let me look. Oh, and then he talks about the universal symbol of fire and flames. He said that this man has a dream that his dad is burning inside a house. And then he himself dies of pneumonia, right? Like a year later with a fever, a really high fever. It's like so weird. Honestly. Did I go too far? Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. I'll just like read you off the things that she says so you could get a general idea. So pretty much she wrote in a book for her dad for Christmas, and it was a series of her dreams that she had when she was 8. An evil animal, a snake-like monster with many horns, kills and devours all other animals, but God comes from the 4 corners, being in fact 4 separate gods, and gives rebirth to all the dead animals. An ascent into heaven, where pagan dances are being celebrated, and a descent into hell, where angels are doing good deeds. A horde of small animals frightens the dreamer. The animals increase to tremendous size. One of them devours the little girl. A small mouse is penetrated by worms, fishes, snakes, and human beings. Thus the mouse becomes human. This portrays the 4 stages of the origin of mankind. I don't know how much I agree with that one, personally. A drop of water is seen, as it appears when looked at through a microscope. The girl sees that the drop is full of tree branches. This portrays the origin of the world. A bad boy has a clod of earth and throws bits of it at everyone who passes. In this way, all passerbys become bad. A drunken woman falls into water and comes out renewed and sober. The scene is in America. This is a separate one. The scene is in America, where many people are rolling on an ant heap, attacked by the ants. The dreamer, in a panic, falls into a river. There is a desert on the moon where the dreamer sinks so deeply into the ground that she reaches hell. In this dream, the girl has a vision of a luminous ball. She touches it. Vapors emanate from it. A man comes and kills her. The girl dreams she is dangerously ill. Suddenly, birds come out of her skin and cover her completely. A swarm of gnats obscure the sun, the moon, and all the stars except one. That one star falls upon the dreamer. And so, it's like, it's so weird, bro, because he talks about that all these motifs are always reflected on at the end of someone's life, right? Like, 9 of the 12 dreams are influenced by the theme of destruction and restoration, and none of these dreams show traces of specific Christian education or influence. On the contrary, they are more closely related to primitive myths. So, like, the girl wasn't religious. She just somehow came up with all this stuff, right? And I think this is why you could see such... I mean, okay, I'm not going to talk about it from a Christian worldview. This is why you can see such parallels between cultures, too, right? So, like, certain myths span from one peoples to another that never spoke on opposite sides of the world long before boats were a thing, right? And so Jung would say this is an aspect of the collective unconscious. The idea that all of humanity is strung together by certain ideas, certain symbols, certain stories. It's such weird stuff, honestly. Like, bro, this fucking stupid ass. Bro couldn't pull it open like the first 5 tries. It's such weird stuff. I actually believe all of it, though, seriously. Like, the idea of compensatory dreams and stuff is very understandable, actually, when I start to think of some of the most memorable dreams I've had. And he says there's a special importance to dreams that are repeated over a lifetime, the things that you really take note of. It's such weird stuff, dude. And he also asserts that even if you don't remember the dream the next morning when you wake up, this is actually true. I've kind of noticed this. Like, if you don't remember the dream even after you wake up, you still have the sensations from it. You still derive the ideas. And that's, like, true because I've woken up before and been like, damn, why do I feel like this? And then I'll randomly remember throughout the day, like, oh shit, what the fuck? I had a dream about some weird shit last night. You know? It's very real stuff, guys. But it's so hard to interpret dreams. He also says this isn't like a solid science. Well, he also says that no sciences are solid, right? You have to look at everything within its context. Because within the context of physics, what's up with helium? That's not actually what he says. But like you have to look within things in their context. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a solid science. And he also states, I actually agree with this entirely. Psychology is more a matter of experience of the person than just pure science, right? It's not as formulaic. It's more about like, if I talk to thousands of people about their problems, I'm gonna know more about this stuff than like someone who just read textbooks and went to college for it, right? It's extremely important for this. This is also a weird thing. He talks about the animus, but I'm gonna get into that in one sec because I just found this page. This is weird, bro. He talks about this. He's a chemist, I believe, who dreamt of this. That was probably so loud. And then he found the actuality of the shape is this. It's like, what the fuck? You know? And, okay. How much is to be said about this being a spiritual thing versus just your subconscious holding truth that your conscious mind hasn't really come to the conclusion of, right? Because, like, it's interesting. Heuristics can take you far. Seriously, just the snap judgments that your brain already has, it's fucking weird, bro. It's really weird stuff, you know? Like, more truth is going to come out when you immediately start talking about something than when I ask you and I give you 4 minutes to think about what you're going to say. It's your more genuine answer then. So, therefore, the things that you're not thinking about can often be more correct than the things that you think about, right? And it's like, I heard about this, my roommate was telling me about it, I haven't looked into it. He's saying that there's a study that they did where they told people to answer a bunch of questions on a test as fast as they can. Like, there was a time limit or something, and he had them, another group or something, do an equally difficult test, and they, like, would double-check their answers and stuff. And he said that when they were double-checking their answers, they got it wrong more, which actually makes sense, because think about, like, when you're taking a math test or something, I feel like you're a lot more likely to fuck it up if you're second-guessing yourself. Oh, did I really do this formula right? Like, let me just triple-check or something. And then you're second-guessing, oh, man, I don't know. You know? It's a lot more likely to mess you up. So he talks about the anima and the animus. It's very weird stuff. It's pretty much the opposite gender version of you in your subconscious, right? So, like, he doesn't explain a lot of it, but there's ways that like people tap into this stuff, right? So, like, it's the idea that there's a woman living within me and a man living within women. It's such weird stuff. And he talks about that there's 4 archetypes of this. I didn't read all of them, but one of them was Lilith, right? If you know anything about mythology, Lilith is a demon mentioned in Judaism, in the Bible, in the Apocrypha, in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And pretty much it depends on where you read it, right? But what the Talmud says is that pretty much, and a lot of traditional parts of African Christianity talk about this too, they pretty much assert that Lilith was Adam's first wife, right? And they're in Eden, and he goes to have sex with her, and she won't lay on bottom, right? They're doing like the missionary, and she says, "I will not let you control me." Adam says, "This is an enviable position. A woman is not made to be here because then you're controlling me," right? And then she runs away, and the angels come to her and say, "If you don't come with us back to Eden, we're going to kill 100 of your children every day," right? And she says, "Fine, I'm not going to do it." And this is really weird, bro. But some parts of mythology state that she steals men's semen at night, right? And dude, this is weird. This is weird as fuck, bro. I was reading this study, and it was pretty much explaining that 2 psychotic patients reported that they were having sex at night against their will, right? And like they could feel someone touching them and shit. And I don't know if schizophrenia can cause you to feel things or not. I wouldn't believe so. I think that you just see them and you can hear them and stuff. And they said sometimes that they would ejaculate during such a thing. And Jewish people in the Talmud, I believe, they talk about how I don't know who says this actually, but some mythologies say that she is responsible for nocturnal emissions, right? She's stealing the child from you, because they say that that's what she did to Adam. They say that she came back and took Adam's seed and she spawns demon children and all this stuff. It's so weird. But back to the point I was gonna make. So of the Lilith archetype is a deviant, independent woman, right? She's so unwilling to go submit that she's gonna allow her children to be killed on a mass scale. She's said to be the mother to all demons, right? Oh, not to mention, this is weird, bro. Some myths assert that. Okay, so have you heard of the concept that demons live within, or like mirrors are a portal to demons and shit like that? You can see them in there. Certain mythologies say that. This is fucking so weird, bro. They say that Lilith will take over young girls. She'll enter them through their eyes and make them like hate the way that they look and shit. Which actually makes sense, because if you make a teenage girl look in a mirror for an hour a day, she's gonna hate the way that she looks, bro. She's literally gonna want to kill herself. The Bible asserts all mental illness is due to demons. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, so back to Jung. Jung says that she's one of the archetypes, right? And that would actually kind of make sense, because you think about a transgender woman, a man to a girl. What is she? She won't listen to a fucking word anyone tells her. Don't do this shit. Don't do this shit. Fuck you. Sexual deviancy on a mass scale. I feel like a lot of them be very sexually deviant. They be fucking a lot and shit. Not good. But am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that, guys? Like, that on average, trans women are having a lot of sex? I feel like that's pretty common. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but like I feel like the trans women that I've met and like seen online and stuff are often very sexual, right? Being non-submissive, very sexual. I mean, Lilith is supposed to be a succubus, if you know what that is. I was looking into it, bro. It's fucking weird shit. It's like a female demon who feeds on the energy of like semen and stuff like that. It's fucking crazy, bro. But anyways, I haven't read too much about the animus, the male within women, but that would make sense as well, because I do notice some kind of randomly male traits coming out in women. And it would also make sense because the Bible says that like women will bite at your heel. So that means that at one time there was a part of women, that just women would fully agree with men, right? They understood and stuff. Like everything was chill, gender relation wise. And it's obviously not like that today. But like you can kind of tell that in the subconscious mind of most women, there is a part of them that that understands men. It's fucking weird, bro. Oh, I hope I didn't just fuck the mic. I don't know. We're gonna see. But I don't know. The stuff about the animus, I'm not really sure. I haven't really read much about it. But that would make sense that they have that within their subconscious, because sometimes you can see them like tapping into kind of the male mind. It's really weird stuff. It's just if they need to, you know. Anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you for listening. Very good book. Read the first-hand source, guys. I'll make the video about learning soon.